Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. A little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Oh my word, what a nightmare! The screen went black again, and I can't really hear myself properly in my ears. But apart from that, everything's absolutely fine. All bon dia, Alegria Munson here on the Expats Portugal Show. How are you this morning? I'm just going a little fiddle with my headphones. Never lend your stuff to kids. I think the kids are broken. Look, the dog broke my other headphones, and I think the kids have broken these now. Fantastic. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay. Right. I was yesterday, meditation. Okay. There was a brand new meditation. I have a gift to give to the world, the Munson moment. Okay. So I need to do it now. Sorry. I know I'm meant to be doing a live stream, but I've got to stop for a moment and come to my senses. You never thought you'd hear or see that, did you? Munson coming to his senses. So very quick. You might like to do it with me. Yes. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's better. Very good. Okay. Headphones or not, I've jammed them against the desk here. All is well. Can hear myself now. Not quite as up to date as I'd like to be with putting the videos and the pictures in the picture deck, but I'm going to do that now as we say good morning to each other. How are you doing on this move to Portugal Thursday? Going to talk to Carl, another Carl, two Carls, two for the price of one. As said yesterday, as mentioned yesterday, as advertised yesterday, Carl Hyde joins us. Now, you may have seen him on your screen. See, he's a pal of head gardener McGrady's. He might have even popped into the man cave for you man cave viewers. So some of you might have heard of Carl Hyde. He's a UK expat, been in Portugal for a few years, lives south of the river in Lisbon, and is in the real estate business. Quite new to the business, but nonetheless very passionate about the business. A couple of houses to share with us, but mainly let's talk to him as we get to know him. Let's talk to him about his experience of moving to Portugal, shall we? Okay, so lots of lovely pictures, including snails on spinach. I'm going to do a quick preview myself and remember where I got up to. Oh, Bob and Viv. Do you remember when in this slot we had Vitor Costa talking about the Feiras Novas, the big festa, and the late one in the season that we have at up there in Ponte Lima? Well, we've got lovely pictures and video from Bob and Viv. The Bob and Viv, yes, Portuguese expat royalty on the show this morning, Bob and Viv. But they've had a great time up there. And they have shared a couple of photos with us. Proof of how fresh the food is in Portugal, the produce in Portugal, because Victoria has shared a lovely picture with us of a snail on her spinach. Might not be everybody's cup of tea nutritionally, but you know, don't you? If there's a snail still alive on there, it's going to have been pretty pesticide free, or certainly not enough to get rid of a snail or make a snail feel any less comfortable on the lovely head of spinach that she bought, and a pretty good culinary creation of hers too, got to say. And some car tuning from Palhaça. That go-kart video yesterday really ignited and stimulated a few memories, didn't it? For a few, well, certainly our Portuguese buddies, João F. and Antonio F. were really reminiscing about go-karts. I wonder, did they go from go-karts at the end of the street and wipeouts at the bottom of the hill to this as teenagers and older men? Let's have a look at this from Andy. This has been sent in by Andy from the Bairrada. So much going on there. No one can keep up with Andy and his social life. did we just see? Word. Video from the car tuning event. When you say, I'm just going to go and get my car tuned, presumably most people don't go and do that. A video from Andy then of a car tuning event in Palhaça featuring the NH Pina stunt team. At the first show a few years ago, me and my Portuguese buddy took his old Bedford pickup. Oh, Bedford pickups. Those are I'd really love one of those. Those are those older vehicles, those veteran vintage vehicles, where you've got a wooden bit at the back. Yeah, typical Portuguese ones, he says, with the wooden backs. Yeah, love those, as you see a lot of those in central Portugal. Probably actually down in the south and in the north, but it's more of a rural thing, isn't it? They donutted it so much that they knackered the engine and had to scrap it. Oh, the impetuousness of youth, both in our 50s, silly old sods. Thank you, Andy, for that. That was quite extraordinary. And thank you to the NH Pina stunt team, who seem to be doing the circuit at the moment. Wowza. Okay, thank you very much for that. Let's see who's in this morning, and then we'll go to a few more of your pics and videos in anticipation of Carl Hyde joining us. And Sarah Yerman. Sarah's here with a bon dia. Sarah's got a lovely idea, some map-based technology that may be of benefit to the community here. Some real Web 2.0 stuff, interactive, collaborative use of the internet of possible interest to Gumpers and community members, of course, of every kind here at Expats Portugal. So those pesky snails, yes, indeed, your cousins causing trouble. James, good morning to you as well. So we got Benny back as well. Sir Lion H, haven't seen you for a while. T-Duck, of course. And I think, oh, yes, a God Squad tip of the day. That's fantastic. Thank you, Ian, for your dedication. So T-Duck was in when? 7:57. Oh, quite late for the T-Duck. With a deep thought of the day then. The universe doesn't give you what you ask for with your thoughts. It gives you what you demand with your actions. Oh, my word. Well, what do we think of that? I would say there's a lot of truth in that. And that is Steve Maraboli. Yeah, rationality, it does tend to get us in quite a lot of trouble, does it not? That part of our mind, which we give so much credit to, and yet there's a whole other aspect or aspects to us, and where more of the action, more of the power might be. Certainly, according to Steve Maraboli here, who apparently was an internet radio commentator, motivational speaker, and author. Sounds like, doesn't it, with things like that, the universe doesn't give you what you want, what you ask for with your thoughts. It gives you what you demand with your actions. That's right. That seems, I would say that's true. What say you on that? And a Portuguese saying of the day: "A roupa suja lava-se em casa." Dirty clothes are washed at home, not on social media. We need that from time to time, don't we? You can walk away quietly and confidently from an internet bust up, can't you? By just putting that in Portuguese on your timeline. Very good. But it is okay to air your clean laundry in Cascais. All right. Very good. Dad jokes, thank you very much. We'll come back to those. Thank you very much. A lovely. Oh, they're good. They're very good this morning. And it was very interesting, wasn't it, to see what we did to Michael yesterday. That his grandfather was a non-stop prankster joker, and it had actually put him off dad jokes for life. Very interesting. James, then we'll come back to those. T-Duck, thank you for those. Bon dia, Gumpers. And thank you so much. Lots of fun meeting up yesterday. And thanks for all you do in your top producer role, T-Duck. Feliz Quinta a todos. Thanks to you, James, as well. So many wonderful, dedicated people here. Okay, tem feito. Muito bem, obrigado. And a Will Rogers quote of the day. We've finished with Mark Twain, aren't we? We're still working Will Rogers, though. He's given us a lot of value. Democrats never agree on anything. That's why they're Democrats. If they agreed with each other, they would be Republicans. That's interesting, isn't it? Definitely a parallel there with the Labour and Conservative Party in the UK, my reference point. Very good. Is that true, Americans? Is it? Well, the Democrats won't agree about that, will they? But the Republicans might. Republicans. Good God, squad. Tip of the day then. Good God. So growing old disgracefully is what that stands for. And let's get straight into it. Place your feet a shoulder's width apart. Okay, I'm with you. And more squatting then, and squat down on your haunches, steady as you go, okay, because you would need to be able to get back up again as well. Heels on the ground. Yes, remember, a good squat has you with your heels on the ground. And of course, some cultures are better at squatting than others because they don't train themselves out of it at an early age. Isn't it great to see people who are so supple in old age, or certainly even in middle age, where they can squat and balance themselves on their haunches, as Coach Turner's telling us today. Just do what you can. Don't hurt yourself. Put your elbows inside your knees, not literally, and push gently apart as wide as you can. Hold for 10 seconds. And if somebody walks in the room, just say, it's fine, I can explain. And help me up, please. This exercise helps. Thank you for this one, Coach Turner. I'm going to try this later. Not sure how well I'll be able to keep my heels on the ground, but I'll give it a go. The exercise helps improve the hip flexibility as well as make you squat properly. There you go, proper squats. You keep your high heels on the floor. Repeat up to 10 times throughout the day if you like, or in one go. Is that okay, Coach Turner, that you can do it all in one go, or maybe spread it out as well? I'll do a video later for the 3 exercises so far this week, as they seem to help. Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Slug's friend, James, how times have changed. Today, all the Democrat politicians are in lockstep. I suppose, yeah, maybe it's what happens when power is at stake. You think, oh, okay, we don't particularly like these people, but they're better than the other ones. Is that what happens? And yes, that's so true, because I just was hearing on the news, the UK, the new leader of the UK, as in, she's not really the leader of the UK, she just politically, she's the new prime minister, who 0.3% of the population voted for. It's quite extraordinary, something like that. Less than 1% voted for her, and she's now the prime minister. And she's going to be borrowing an extraordinary amount of money to save people from the ravages of her, I guess what you could say the previous philosophy of her government is now being attended to or fixed by the most socialistic. They have to be. They've got to be the most socialistic Tory government that has ever been seen. This is the party of small government previously. Isn't it amazing? And I think this chimes with what you're saying, Tito. Things just are sort of 180ing at the moment, aren't they? The parties of small government, etc., etc., certainly in the UK at the moment, have become big government and are borrowing extraordinary amounts of money and then charging everybody for the privilege so that they can be looked after properly. Isn't that amazing? Bon dia. Bon dia, Carl and Compass. Again, some early messages gone. Okay, we have a Scooby-Doo mystery on our hands, don't we? I think here. Was it the janitor who comes in and takes the messages away? I wonder. I've got a Scooby-Doo meme, but I don't think it's. Or have I got a Scooby-Doo meme anymore? No, I don't think I do. But this one, when we rip the mask off the person who's stolen the early messages on YouTube, will it be the janitor? I wonder. Okay, so I had posted Friday night's winning Euro rollover numbers, but sadly they're gone. Oh no, this is getting serious now. So the winning numbers were posted earlier on this morning for the Euro gazillions. It's not Euro millions, it's Euro gazillions, I think now. It just get bigger. It has to get bigger and bigger. And who doesn't like it getting bigger and bigger first thing in the morning? Yes, well, that's a real blow. I'm really sorry to hear that. Sorry, everybody, to be the bearer of that bad news. That Deagle's actually supplied the winning Euro rollover numbers, and they've gone from the screen. Okay, well, we'll try again tomorrow, Deagle, if you don't mind. That could be very handy for some people. Maybe the UK government could benefit from that. Bon dia, Carl, and the rest of the gang from Sir Lion H. Nice of you to pop in from time to time. Great to see you here, Sir Lion. And we've got a Lord Gilchrist and a Sir Lion. What great company we have here on the Expats Portugal Show. Bon dia from the Porky Feet Andy. Love that car tuning video. That's what it's called, is it? Car tuning. It is high performance domestic vehicles, I suppose, isn't it? Sound like F1, but just coming from a car park near you. Good morning from Benny. Benny's back in Singapore, I think, and all of them, both parties. Do you want a burger or chicken? Those are your choices. Chicken say burgers suck. Burgers say chicken suck. Yes, yeah, fair enough. We're all getting a bit jaded and cynical about politics, are we not? Leslie Smith, but let's not get completely. I mean, I think politics and politicians deserve a somewhat derisory treatment, and it's understandable that cynicism and negativity might ensue. But let's not have that as our leading suit in life, shall we? Other options are available for managing society and managing one's own mental health. Let us reassert that fact this morning. Morning all. Hope it's sunny there. Well, actually, Leslie, it's not. It's not sunny at all, and it's been a bit rainy and moist and damp this morning here on the Silver Coast. But I suspect that will give way to some beautiful weather as it did yesterday. I had to get the shades dropped at Palmera yesterday. The sun was so beating down so hard on our backs. It was a lovely day, a September day on the Silver Coast yesterday, and I suspect we're up for another one this morning. So morning to you, Leslie, and good morning to you, Arlene Geddes. Good morning, Carl. Good morning to you, Arlene. Lovely job, lovely. I'm not going to repeat what I was going to say there. Lovely job you've done with your hands there. If you see what I mean, lovely manicure. Those is that your own? I'm getting too personal. I'm just wondering if that's a service you provide for other people, or those are your own nails that are beautifully done there. Yeah, those pesky snails. Talking of which, then, pesky snails. No snails were harmed in the making of this lovely food in the Algarve made by Victoria. Morning to you, Victoria, if you're already tuned in. Probably eating a breakfast of champions featuring some of those peaches that we can see in the picture there. That is really beautiful. I love that. It's a lovely bit of pastry you've got going on there. Well, I think you do tell us what that's called, but you bought a massive head of spinach. Now, some people, this is very interesting and very useful, I think, for people to see spinach in Portugal, because the espinafres there, spinach, it's not the soft, non-spiky leaf that you're probably familiar with as spinach. You know, the sort of spinach you buy, massive bag of it, you saute or steam it, and it just turns into a small cube about 1 centimeter squared. You know, that sort of spinach. Well, we can find that, and you can grow it. We do here in Portugal. But this is more likely to be the spinach you'll get if you ask for spinach in Portugal. And I think this is sometimes called perpetual spinach, because it is, or New Zealand spinach, and certainly it's called espinafres here in Portugal. And it's quite robust, so you have to make sure you steam those spiky tips there. Who doesn't like to steam their spiky tip? And this little fella was on the spinach. It just goes to show, doesn't it? Some good produce, with even other colleagues from nature enjoying the produce as well. So lucky, what's worse than finding a snail in your food? Half a snail, knowing you've eaten the other half. Now, while you enjoy that little snail there, let me find out what this dish is called from Victoria, who says, yeah, interloper in the spinach. No pesticides here if the caracois are enjoying it. Don't worry. He wasn't included in a spanakop. How do I say this? Spanakopita. Spanakopita. I think that's probably a right way of saying it, and it's not how I'm saying it. But you get the idea. I think that we're talking about a Greek spinach-based dish with some lovely pastry there, and there it is on the plate. Beautiful. And the snail presumably was set free. Maybe Victoria put the snail on the balcony and then down swooped a seagull. No, sorry. I hope I hope it didn't end like that. Oh, that sound. What sound? Quads in fire? Every night about 10 p.m. in a garage just a block away. Lovely. Oh, the okay. Not a fan then. Sorry to start your morning with that as well then, James, in that case. And Francis is here. I'm in mourning after the game last night. Oh, what happened? What happened? Maybe you don't want to talk about it, but what game do you mean? I'm not sure you're talking about the International Chess Championships there, Francis. What do you mean? Hola, bon dia todos from Jean. Good morning, Jean. How you doing? And I know it's an early morning for you. And hola, bon dia, everyone. Owen, how are you doing this morning? A beautiful person. Hi, all bon dia from Connie as well. And Arlene has a message for us now. Look, she started with a simple bon dia, I think, or good morning, Carl. And here we go now. My husband and I have bought our new home just outside Coimbra, and we have sent our visa application 1 week ago to the Portuguese consulate in Manchester, UK. So waiting patiently on their response. Well, fingers crossed, everything crossed for you. I'm reminded of a photograph I took yesterday. We bumped into one of our special pals here in San Martino de Porto, who's here on Cub Scout camp. Not related directly to you, Arlene. I'll share that picture with you in a moment when I figure out where I've put it on my. I think if I got to send it to myself on my phone, yes, I'll do that. Carl joining us in about 10 minutes. We'll have a chat with him about his journey as a UK expat here. But let's chill with you guys for a moment and just take it easy as we ease into this Thursday, the Quinta-feira here in Portugal. Who doesn't like a nice donut first thing? Absolutely. And squat. Have you been doing this, James? I wonder. You see, what happens when a slug does some squats? I think some of that slime might spurt out. Be careful. In my younger days, I was a Republican. Oh dear, that's quite. Yeah. I guess confessions. We will deal with you in as non-judgmental way as possible here on the Expats Portugal Show with the Gumpers here. Bom dia, alegria a todos de Pombal. Muito chuva, good for the plants. Oh, so it's peeing down then by the sound of it in Pombal. How you doing, Matty? Haven't heard a lot from you. just recently. Hope you're well. And the exercises can be spread out over the day. The important thing is to have them done. So there you go. You might like to get it all over and done within one blast. Or alternatively, you might like to spread it out over the day. And who doesn't like to? Okay, I'm going to go into my photos now because I've got a lovely couple of photos to share with you. Often forget some of the ones that I've taken for you as we prioritize people's pictures of snails on spinach and stuff like that. Stephanie also here this morning. Hello, Stephanie. How are you? Stephanie Dolinak is here. Bon dia to all. Right back at you. Igualmen. As is Stephen. How you doing, Stephen? Bon dia to you. And yes, very funny. The red bus stop or the blue bus stop. I'm trying to find out which is the right bus stop to go to Lisbon from here in San Martino de Porto, because the coach comes in and it turns around at the roundabout, and then it's kind of counterintuitive whether you're on the right side of the road. And that could be a bit stressful, couldn't it, to see your Lisbon coach driving off without you because you stood on the wrong side of the road. Does that happen to anybody here? If the pests won't eat it, maybe we should abstain as well. It's a good guide. Excuse me, it's a good guide, James. Received the cultural agenda of the Pombal municipality in my mailbox today. Now, is that a euphemism, I wonder? Who doesn't like a cultural agenda up their postbox first thing in the morning? But what do you mean? That sounds very formal, doesn't it? It sounds like the Lord Mayor and an entourage came and inserted their cultural agenda up your mailbox. It sounds a bit serious, sounds a bit formal. What are the highlights, please, Matty? The agenda just for September. Yeah, exactly. There's probably 1,000 events on there just for this month so that you can be properly festered out. How's everyone doing, by the way? Have you marked yourself safe in Festa season here in Portugal? Not long to go now. Just probably 3 weeks, and then you'll be able to sleep again. October 22, there it is, totally festered out. But yes, the cultural agenda still going strong in Pombal and certainly in Ponte Lima last night. So let's have a look at Ponte Lima, shall we? And a little video. I'll have a sip of tea. Now, do you remember when Vitor Costa joined us last time? He talked about these lovely hats on these lovely people. Feiras Novas. What did Bob say? Bob had a really good little legend to go with this when he sent the pictures in to me. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Viv. Always lovely to see you both. And yeah, Feiras Novas, 196 years young in a city 897 years old. Ponte Lima is rocking it. You two certainly are looking lovely there with your Ponte Lima Feiras Novas hats on. And here's a little bit of video as well. I've not had a chance to vet it. I'm assuming it's okay. Festa season. Thanks, Bob and Viv, for that. Was that a kind of slow version of Battle Pay, Battle Pay, Battle Pay, Battle Pay, Battle Pay, Battle Pay? Very good. I think that's the beginning. People looking quite fresh at that point, and it would have been 11 o'clock at night already. The opening moments, 11 o'clock in the evening. And they may actually, it's 5 to 9. They might still be partying in Ponte Lima this morning. So marvelous. Thank you very much for those, Bob and Viv. Jim's in as well. Hey, Jim, how are you? And how's Porto this morning, Jim? And did Coach recommend spreading out our squats? Yes, he did. Not as bad as it sounds if you've just joined us. And Elena's back to school. And with a bon dia alegria for us as well. Oh, so you've sent us the pickies, have you there, Matty, of your cultural agenda? Okay, well, we better share those. Oh, lots of lovely messages coming in. That's a lovely bit of design as well there, Pombal. Well done. Okay, I'll just bring you that in just a moment. And they've actually given you your own. Is that your own welcome on the front of the cultural agenda? Does it sound so posh? Cultural agenda. Okay, excellent stuff. And here is a good wine from the Azores. Okay, that's Sir Lion, isn't it? Have you sent? Oh, okay, I've got to show that as well then. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Very much appreciated. All your lovely pickies coming in this morning. Oh, and I've got a couple of more of my own to download. Bear with just a moment. Oh, I had a total rascal ring me up yesterday afternoon. I think he'd had a busy day at the Airbnb. Wouldn't that be a really good feature for us to have? A day in the life of an Airbnb owner here in Portugal. And of course, our favorite Airbnb, well, one of them actually, because we've got a few, haven't we? One of our favorite Airbnb owners, of course, is Frank. And I think what had happened yesterday is he called me after he'd done all his, Freddie Mercury is it I Want to Break Free? That's how I think Frank dresses up for his Airbnb changeovers. Hopefully he's changed back again before he greets the new people coming. I mean, people are very open-minded these days. They've seen that. But it might be a bit of a shock to see hairy Frank in his Freddie Mercury outfit, hoovering up with his stockings and suspenders on or whatever it is that completed that outfit. But I think he'd finished tidying up and he'd had a couple of glasses of wine and he thought to himself, I know what I'll do. I'll ring Munson up. And oh my goodness, it's often a little bit, we're a little bit out of sync. I think he'd had one or two more than me, as you might see from this photograph I'm going to show you now. Hold on a minute. I've got a few things. I've got a few bits to share with you before we go to Carl Hyde, the other Carl, at 9 o'clock this morning. Where's that gone then? I thought I'd just downloaded that. Lovely picture of. Well, anyway, I'll have to come back. I think that has. Oh, downloading 3 items. Now that's a spanner in my works. Problem, of course, with when you download multiple pictures, is it zips up the file, which is not very convenient. But I understand what's happened now, so I can bring you those. Okay, how are you doing this morning, everybody? Let us know in the chat. Has anyone tried a squat while I've been talking? Because if you have, that's very rude of you. But fortunately, and hopefully, look at your cameras, your camera off, and hopefully you haven't been broadcasting that to all of the Zoom world. Suze also has been in touch. She's got a crow on her desk. That she's set up. Isn't it nice to know that Suze is set up? She's got herself a little toasty there, I think, and finally set up with a bit of comfort after a long time on the road, I would have it. And can you see pride of place on the desk there? Good morning, Portugal mug. That's fantastic. Finally settling into the new digs and ready to watch Wednesday's replay with espresso in my GMP mug and toast. It was worth the wait. Nice to see some of my stuff again. Fantastic. I'm so glad. It looks really lovely where you are there. Those orcas on the top shelf look good, and I do like that crow as well. Oh, and that heron. That's a really beautiful apartment that you have there. Wayne also. Excuse me. Nice to be in touch with you yesterday, Wayne. And look, this is something I'd like to ask you about, actually. When you return home into Portugal, and isn't it interesting, that turn of phrase, returning home to Portugal? You're a foreigner, you're an immigrant, you're an expat, but you have this great sense of returning home. This is what, have they got a bifana there and a few crinkly crisps and a cider? That's from Lidl, isn't it, that cider, or cidre? Okay, there's a picture. That's what home looks like for Wayne when he gets back into the country. What's your ritual when you get back from traveling and you're back in Portugal? A couple more pictures to share then before we go to Carl, who'll be with us soon. Cultural agenda there, and another page of it shows that, look, they're talking about São Mateus. They've canonized Mati. Sorry, São Mateus Faticas are there. So you've been canonized already. And that's a really nice service, that, isn't it? You've not been there long and they're calling you Saint Mateus already. That's really good news. So Lion H's wine recommendation, the Terras de Lava there. Very nice. And that's from the Açores, is it? Where can we get hold of that? Is that on general release? We'll be able to find that around and about the place. Thank you very much for that, Sir Lion. And yeah, here's Frank that I was telling you about. Yeah, there we go. There's a screenshot from WhatsApp. Yes, Manchester. Well, if you're a Man United fan, as you can see from his cap there, you've got to drink a lot at the moment, haven't you, to drown your sorrows, I think. And that's what he's doing. You gave me a call in the afternoon. He'd had one or two, the rascal. Then down at what a day it was for meeting celebrities. First Frank on WhatsApp, and then this fella down the shop. I had a selfie with Toy. He's called Toy, isn't he? And then in the Bay. In the afternoon, look who showed up working with the scouts on scout camp. Nuno, our mate Nuno Mendes from Winsurance, popped over to say hi as well when we were in the cafe yesterday. Great to see you, Nuno. I hope it's going well on scout camp for you. Oh, and some pictures from this is Uncle Krusty sent a couple of pictures in. And what have we got here? Let me just find what Uncle Krusty is sending us here. I'm just going to check that Carl's all right. Okay, let me just send him a message. And we have got, unless I told him a different time to join. Oh, he's here now. That's fine. I had a terrible moment there. I thought I told, join me at 9:30. But he's here. He'll be with us in just a moment. I've got to tell you what this picture is, though. Sagres Harbour before the sunset in nice, thin portrait there. That look better on Instagram than it does on a live stream CinemaScope picture here, frame. I'm talking format. Carl, sort it out. Sagres Harbour, then just before the sunset. Yeah, part of the harbour's gone cold there, isn't it? And that's when everyone goes home. But still in the distance there, bathed by the sunlight. And look, a paraglider soaring above. That's better, isn't it? That's a better format for our screen here. That is a paraglider soaring above Praia da Cordoama there. Look at that. Paragliding, very popular, is up the road from us. I can step out of my front door and I can see paragliders flying around at the top of the street as they do on a scene very similar to this. And they do a kind of base jump style event every now and then. Very popular here, San Martino, for the paragliding, as it is the Praia de Cordoama there, Western Algarve, I suspect that is. Okay, fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for all your lovely pickies and suggestions. Sir Lion H, tell me more, please, about that Azorian wine. Let's go now, then, to south of the river. There in just south of Lisbon, here in Portugal, and he's been here for a few years, and we're going to talk to him about it. Good morning to you, Carl Hyde. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here. 2 Carls on the screen. I mean, it doesn't get better than this, does it? What a lovely bonus for people this morning.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Right. So you've been here a little while then, I think, a few years, a UK expat, post Brexit then, or how was it for you? Have you been? What did you do?
No, I actually came here in 2019, so it's just before Brexit. So
okay. All right.
Yeah, I got to experience the normal life of being able to get stuff from the UK and all that, and then it was rudely snatched away. And
yes, indeed.
Yeah, it's no fun anymore, that's for sure.
Yeah, probably less said about that the better. But you managed to escape the worst of that by the sound of it, apart from the residue that we're dealing with now. What on earth possessed you, Carl, to move to Portugal?
Well, I mean, just sort of getting tired of life in the UK, like I think a lot of people do, wherever you are in the world, you sort of get tired of the day-to-day, you feel like you're doing the same thing. And you just want to change, sometimes you can't quite quantify it, but you just want to do something different. And I was fortunate enough that, my wife has family here. She was born here. So for us, it was quite a natural sort of move, yeah. So
you saw your moment. You saw your.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, we've been threatening to do it for years.
Yes.
I've been coming on holiday. We've been coming on holiday for like 15 years. Most summers we spent in Portugal, and we'd always talk about it. Think about it, and it was always, maybe in 4 or 5 years, and then, sometime in late 2018, I just had a few bad days at work, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do it. Throw caution to the wind, sell the lot and go. And we did, that's what we did.
Yeah, sometimes it takes that, doesn't it? And I'd be very interested to hear from other people about that. What was that moment? Because it isn't just a moment, is it? There's a build-up, but there's kind of the straw that breaks the camel's back, or the last snowflake that lands on the branch.
It was literally like that. I remember the day, came home, just let's say miffed. Things hadn't been going my way for a few days. I thought, miffed, putting it mildly. It was a bad day at work, and I thought, you know what, I'm just not doing it anymore. I need something different. And I'm lucky that my wife felt the same way. We just felt we needed a change, and also having 3 young children. The opportunity to let them experience a different culture and grow up somewhere that I feel's perhaps a safer place, a gentler place for a child. You know what I mean? Than compared with I'm from Manchester in the UK. It can be a tough place to be. So it was a no-brainer, but it was a risk for sure. Gave up a lot to do it, but I think sometimes you've got to do those things. Just throw caution to the wind and just go for it.
Yeah, okay. And so you did, and I'm taking it it's working out pretty well for you.
Yeah, I mean, mostly. We like I say, we arrived in the summer of 2019. The process of getting here wasn't smooth. There were a few hiccups along the way, and then obviously not long after we got here, we sort of had a 6-month kind of honeymoon period where neither of us was working. We were just sort of settling in and enjoying, our new life, exploring our local neighbourhood and things like that. And then obviously coronavirus hit, and that sort of changed everything. the year, at least the year after that, was quite different, you know. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's definitely been
Well, that's quite
a
something.
good decision.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that if I may. I don't want to probe too much or cause you too much flashback trauma or anything like that.
Ask away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what a lot of people are watching are retiring and coming to Portugal, and you know they've got a nice vision of the future ahead of them because they've worked hard all their lives and they want to enjoy the fruits of their labor and their wealth and come to a country with a different standard of living and a better quality of life. Not the same for you because you're still of working age, right? You haven't exactly come here to sit on your wealth and eat a pastel de nata at 11 o'clock.
No. I would always say to people, I had a pretty comfortable life in the UK. You know, I was earning good money. My wife was a school teacher, you know, and school teachers in the UK, I mean, they might not agree, but the reality is they earn a good salary, you know. So we were very comfortable. We had a nice home. I mean, we'd been there, the home we sold in the UK. We'd been there 7 years when we sold it, and we'd literally just finished this, you know, renovation of this dilapidated old Victorian place. So everything was great in that respect. But yeah, it was a risk. No doubt, it was a risk for us, you know. But I think sometimes you just got to do it, you know.
Yes, indeed. The attraction, I suppose, the potential of the move was greater than any misgivings you might have about it. But that's what I want to ask you about. You know, that is quite risky. You were giving up something on the one hand that was, you know, that you'd worked hard to do. That must be quite difficult to do. And you're not the only one I've spoken to recently who's, you know, their dream home renovation, and you're getting towards the end of it and thinking, oh, we imagined we might be spending a few years in here. That's what this has all been about, and now we're leaving it. How difficult was that?
Yeah, well, I suppose it was the 7-year itch. I mean,
yes.
I mean, it is. You know, it's a classic sort of thing. But I think just doing a renovation, you know, moving into the house. I think we bought in 2012. You know, it hadn't been touched for like 30 or 40 years, and we lived in a building site for so long. I mean, that might be part of the reason why, you know, you sort of working hard, I would say working 24/7 almost, you know, because I had my own businesses. And then you're coming home, it's a building site, and it's enjoyable, but it's also very difficult, especially when you've got young children. So, I mean, maybe that was part of it. I think by the time you get to the end of it, you know, even though we love the place, and I've got to say, I actually have regrets of selling that house because we put so much effort into it. But, you know, sometimes you just do have to leave the past, you know, behind. You have to sort of sever your ties and take that risk, that, you know, especially if you're not happy with your lot. And you know,
well, you took responsibility for it, mate, and you've done it now. And look, we've got an old timer here who was in similar situation some years ago. We moved. This is Andy, by the way. If you're thinking, what, Porky Feet? We moved for very similar reasons in very similar circumstances as Carl. Carl Hyde, over 17 years ago. Well, I suppose same for me 5 years ago. So a veteran Andy, similar circumstances, what advice would you give to the Carls here about making the move and how to settle? And you mentioned you've got young kids. How's it been for them being a young family, and how have they settled into life here?
I mean, I think they've done very well overall. There has been some difficulties, language difficulties. So, I mean, I'll just sort of explain the sort of family situation here. My wife was born in Lisbon, but she left the country when she was 5 years old. She moved to Germany at age 5. At age 12, she was relocated to the UK, but went to a German school. So my wife sort of sees herself as German, speaks fluent Portuguese, all this kind of stuff. So she always spoke Portuguese with them at home in the UK, on and off. But obviously it's an English-speaking household primarily. And so when we came over, my eldest son, we had designs on getting him into a local school, but we didn't realise we'd left it too late, very naively. You know, we'd been and had interviews and things like this. I thought, great, we're going to go there. One thing leads to another. You get bogged down in the home buying process, and by the time it came to actually signing on the dotted line and securing the place at the school we wanted, we sort of missed that. So when we came here, he had a few months. He would have been 8 years old, I think, at the time. Yeah, he'd have been 8. So he had a few months of no school. And then eventually we found another school and put all 3 kids in that. And you know, I think a lot of the time people say, oh, kids, they just pick it up, it's automatic, within a month they're fluent. I wouldn't say it's been quite like that, you know, even though we do have, you know, my wife speaking Portuguese with them. They do have some struggles with the language, but by and large, they settled in very well. You know, they've got lots of friends from all over the world. You know, a lot of people, you know, in the area I live in, you know, there's people from the United States, the UK, Germany, Israel, Brazil, you know, so they've got friends from all over the world, and on that level, they've settled in very well. You know, they love going to school.
Okay, so what's your advice then? I mean, that's the ideal for parents, isn't it? Moving with a young family, getting them into school, and the absolute best outcome there would be that the kids settle in really well, and then they teach their parents how to speak Portuguese. I'll ask you how your Portuguese is in a minute, but it doesn't always work out like that, as you're saying. So what did you do to help them adjust?
I mean, really, I think you just got make an effort with you know, with other parents and that, you know, try and get, you know, play dates and things like this, just so that they can, you know, form those new friendships, those new bonds with other people. Because I mean, for my younger kids, you know, I've got their ages now. Let me think, 6, 7, and 11.
Right. Wow.
So when we came here, it was, you know, 3, 4, and 8. So for the youngest two, it wasn't so bad. You know, they had friends and they'd been to nursery in the UK. But you know, for my oldest, who was 8 at the time, as I keep saying, you know, he quickly settled in.
Yeah.
It did take them a time, you know, especially him to sort of, you know, accept that he wasn't going back, and you know, there was no traumas with it, but he had his friends, and he would always talk about his friends and refer to them.
Of course.
You know, and he still does occasionally. You know, we were back in the UK in April, and we actually met up with, you know, 3 or 4 of his I say former friends. They're still friends, and they exchange numbers, so now they can contact each other on WhatsApp. But I think that's it. I think, you know, just get them into a school, and then, you know, speak to other parents. You know, I mean, my wife's in all the WhatsApp groups for the, you know, for our 3 kids. You know, exchanging ideas with other parents, asking for advice from other parents, where to go, you know, things to do, and kids parties. I mean, we've got 3 kids, so you can imagine every weekend we're going to another kids party. You know, that's our social life kind of thing. You know. So,
okay, well, it sounds like it's all worked out, but I guess you just got to adjust with the kids, haven't you, and let them go at their own pace, regardless of regardless of your own aspirations and the ideal. Go.
I mean, and don't worry too much about it, because I think you can start, you know, you can get bogged down with it, thinking, you know, oh, you know, it's taken them too long. I mean, we've certainly had those concerns. You know, with my youngest, my little girl, she's taken longer to adjust, and she does struggle sometimes with reading and things like this. But, you know, she's 6 years old. You know, by the time she's 12, she will just be fluent. You know, she just will be. You know, it's sort of one day you wake up and it's there kind of thing. So, I mean, really, we've got no concerns. And I would just say to people who think about that, because I do see a lot of people, you know, in Facebook forums, and I have clients and things like that, and they're obviously concerned. You know, that's one of people's biggest concerns. You know, how's it going to impact my children? And I think, you know, just overall, it is going to be a win. You know, but just be patient with them. You know, spend time with them, sort of ease them in, and you know, help them form them friendships. You know,
what a gift. Ultimately, what a gift after you've been through all the trials and tribulations, to have them speaking a second language is a wonderful gift to them, which eventually they'll thank you for. So that's super. Thank you for your tips on that. You know, we're working with a young family and settling them in. Where then can you live in Portugal and have Brazilians, Israelis, and Americans and British people as neighbours? Do you mind telling us where you live?
Well, I live in a little place called Aroeira. I believe you know it.
I do.
Yeah,
and I love it.
Yeah, the chap who was on yesterday, was it Michael? I think I heard him say he lived there too. So so I'm sort of 20 minutes south of Lisbon, basically, across the Big Red Bridge, the 25th of April bridge.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's you've got that great access to Lisbon, but then you're sort of away from all that. We've got fantastic beaches, very nice homes. It's not as built up as Lisbon and some of the areas around Lisbon, so that's sort of what attracted us to this place. And without really doing much research, to be honest with you, one of the main reasons we came here was we like the beaches here. So I just thought, well, I'm going to go there then. And it's just worked out that way. We found our way into a very good local school, and it's amazing. I mean, you know, that's a real gift for your kids. You know, they're
Yeah.
making connections now with other kids from all over the world. You know, when they're 21 years old, you know, I would hope anyway that's going to give them options. You know, they
Yes.
can go to the United States and meet their friend, or to Brazil, or to China, or Israel, or whatever else. So, yeah.
Superb. Let's talk a bit more about Aroera, because Montijo was mentioned yesterday, and there's a phenomenon. I mean, we'll talk more about your foray and the beginnings of your career in the real estate business, which is what you've chosen to do here in Portugal. And there's this phenomenon, for sure, isn't there, of moving south of the river in Lisbon. This is what happens, I guess, in all the big cities of the world as prices cook. Locals need to find themselves moving out to the outskirts, also realizing huge assets in the city, but also newcomers will want to live near the city if they can't afford to live right in the city. And south of the river is proving to be a great option for people moving to Lisbon. Montijo came up yesterday. We talked a lot about that. Aroera, I discovered quite by accident. I was looking for somewhere to live. We moved to central Portugal when we first arrived, but then for work reasons needed to be near the capital. And a friend said, "Oh, my stepson, he lives on this golf course." I was thinking, that's interesting. I've got some clubs that could be quite nice, and they've got an apartment on a golf course. He might be able to help you find somewhere. And via some circuitous route, we did find ourselves living in a condo kind of block on the Aroera golf course, which is the most extraordinary place, isn't it? Because we've got luxury homes there, and you've got the cheap seats as well, which is where we lived, and you've got a lovely little shop and restaurant there, and Benfica players and people, the rich and famous from all around the world live in that little gated community, don't they? Rub shoulder to shoulder with the hoi polloi as well as the super rich. And then that sits in the Aroera neighborhood, I suppose, doesn't it? Where all these lovely beaches are that you speak of.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not in that neighborhood. I don't have the means for one of those luxury properties, but yeah, I mean, the estate is absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I sort of live just outside that in Aroera. You've got also Verdizela and Belverde a little bit further down from that, all very desirable places. And certainly, I mean, as you mentioned earlier in the show before I came on, that I do have, I work with Lee as well, the head gardener, Lee McGrady. We have a small business. He does all the hard work. I just do the paperwork, but he does the maintenance, in this area. And so from that, I mean, we just get to see, the diverse population here. I mean, a lot of people are coming here. Lots of people from the States, and they are looking, like you said, they're looking for something that's perhaps not as busy as Lisbon, great beaches, all those kind of things. And also you could perhaps pound for pound, get some more sort of bang for your buck kind of thing on the properties you're looking at.
Yeah, no question. Yeah. Is it all right with you, Carl, if I talk about Fontatelia, or will you hate me for doing that and sharing it with the rest of the world?
It's my favorite beach. I love it.
Yeah, that's why I'm a bit reluctant to share it.
Yeah. I'm literally, I'm on the road to Fontatelia. I am 1 minute away from Fontatelia, and that's why I bought the house that I have now.
Yeah, and so we're conveying an impression, aren't we, of Aroera for the super rich? But I think you might have mentioned it there. It is also a Portuguese neighbourhood, and the beach is Fontatelia certainly is not in any way over fancy or snooty, is it? It's really natural and beautiful. And this is a beach you can get to by bus from I think it's the 127 bus. Is that right? You can get a bus all the way.
I'm not sure about the buses now, because they just had Almada Council have just changed. I think they have a new contract with a new business. It's caused quite a bit of upset. So all the buses have changed, all the routes have changed. So unfortunately, I couldn't tell you the bus number, but yeah, buses do go there. It's a very popular spot for sure.
Fontatelia, Fontedatelha. It's turns out it's a favourite beach among Carls here. And yeah, what a wonderful place to go to watch the sun go down. There's a few bars there, and again, they're not swanky or snooty, are they? They're just like nice.
I mean, I would say you've got an array of places. I mean, you do have a very nice place there called Kailua. It's a little bit more pricey, but the food is very nice, the drinks are very nice, and the setting is very nice. But there are other places all the way along. I mean, there must be at least a dozen bars there, and you can just go in for a simple beer, or maybe a bifana or something like that, something cheap, or a tosta mista. or you can go for a fancy meal. But yeah, the beach is fantastic. I mean, it just goes, as you're standing at the water, you can look in either direction, and it's, I don't know, 10 kilometers in either direction, sort of unobscured views, and you've got the fantastic sort of cliff face behind you.
Yes.
So
It's
yeah,
superb.
it's a beautiful place.
And a couple of things about it as well that I recall. And thank you, Antonio F, for putting the name for us there, Fontatelia. But all the way up from there, because I think there's a big sort of military prohibited place where you can't go to the south of that. It's a bit difficult, isn't it? But
I think it's a NATO
is that what
airbase,
it
not an
is?
airbase, but yeah, it's a NATO piece of land. Yeah, for sure.
And I'm told the internet comes in there as well. There's a cable, the marine cable of not just the internet, I suppose, but all kinds of cables coming in the Atlantic come in at that point or thereabouts. But going north from Fontatelia, there are loads of beaches, aren't there? Some well known, some less well known, some naturist beaches. Have you got any other favourites along there?
Well, there's Praia de Moreno. That's a little further along. They have some nice. There's a nice restaurant there. And there's another one, and the name just escapes me now.
But all along there, right? There are just beautiful beaches, one after another, all the way up.
Absolutely. Basically, if you go from where I am in Araújo, right on the coastline, you can sort of go all the way up to, say, Caparica and Trafaria. Before you get to Costa de Caparica, there are, and it just this was a sort of an old road, an old beaten sort of old track, and they've actually just renewed it all, put a brand new road in, they're putting a cycle lane in, so there's better access and better parking. And if you go along there, there are beaches all the way along. Like I say, there are naturist beaches and all kinds of things on offer. So you can get, if you go a little bit further out, if you don't want as many kids and families and things like that around, you can sort of push on a bit and get a little bit more peace and quiet. Or you can just go to the hot spots. I mean, Fontatelia, if you go straight down the hill into the beach, you know the way in, that steep hill down.
Yes.
If you just park up there, then it's going to be very busy. But even there, you can sort of drive along for half a kilometre, and it's not as busy, and you still got restaurants and things like that there. So loads and loads of options between here and Costa Caparica.
Yeah, Fontatelia reminds me of Central California beaches in the 70s. That's quite the compliment, I think. That golden age of the surfer dude of California. Jim actually lives in Porto, but he knows Fontatelia. He may have one or two happy memories of that as well. Apparently, Carl, rain is coming in to Portugal. Long-awaited and much-needed rain. Wonderful, wonderful rain, says Terence Austin. Artist got soaked this morning walking the dog. Fantastic. You wouldn't be saying that in Manchester, would you? I've just got in from walking the dog and I'm drenched.
Yeah.
Bugger.
And that would usually be the case in Manchester. I mean, that was one of the other reasons we came here. It's the permanent grey sky. You forget what a blue sky looks like, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, you got it 300 days of the year here, haven't you? Rain today. Feel free to come again another day. So yes, people were glad to see the rain this morning. What's this? Tina Turner couldn't stand it, but the Temptations, just like us, just wish it would rain. Very good. Some nice musical references. Araújo, then Fontatelia. What are the prices in that area? So let's get down to business here. After all, that praise must be high. Before you answer that specifically, you have gone into the real estate business here in Portugal. It's your new work here, and we'll have a look at a couple of houses that you're proud to be associated with. I think some lovely property. And first question I would ask you, Carl, in the UK, you'd be an estate agent. And I was thinking, how do I describe Carl? Do I call him a realtor? Do I call him a real estate agent? How have you got your head around that?
It depends who I'm talking to. If we're speaking to an American client, then I might say realtor. If we're speaking to a UK client, then it'd be a real estate agent. And sometimes I even say I'm a real estate consultant, which sounds a little bit more fancy. But,
yes, it does. So to answer Matt's question, what are the prices like in that area? What are we talking about for maybe a studio apartment, if such a thing exists there, and maybe a family?
Yeah, there's not as much of that here. I mean, you are looking at homes, really. So sort of close to where I live on the main road, sort of heading towards Fontatelia. Across from me, there's quite a large housing estate, and you've got older Portuguese homes, your more traditional sort of villa types, and then you've also got a lot of new builds, these white sort of cubes that are sort of popping up everywhere. Well, they certainly are, where I live. And you can get a brand new home, a 4-bedroom, a T4 for, 500,000, there or thereabouts, maybe 100,000 more, depending on the build quality, plot size, things like that. So yeah, depending on your budget anyway, perhaps not for everybody, but I think for a lot of people, people come into the country, certainly very affordable,
Yeah, well, absolutely, because Matty might be thinking, yeah, all that high praise, you must be talking about 1 or 2 million, but no, 500,000. It's get your foot in the door around where Carl and I have been talking about this morning. Carl Hyde joining me, talking about his journey as a UK expat over to Portugal, and now talking a little bit more about the work that you've gone into. So what's it been like becoming an estate agent in Portugal? Quite new to the business, I think.
Yeah, I joined. I actually work for Coldwell Banker Luxus, and my office is based out of Cascais. I joined the company well, not when I've got a commute there, but yeah, I mean, it's, so I joined in April, and it's been a steep learning curve. I'm lucky that I've joined a great team with a lot of highly experienced agents. All the people on my team are expats. They all speak English. Some of them speak Portuguese. Some of them, speak German. Range of languages, range of experiences and backgrounds, and things like that. So the chap who's selling this home, you can see in the bottom corner there, is my colleague.
Isn't it? Beautiful.
I mean, that's just a fantastic home. Christopher, he's the guy who sort of introduced me to the agency, and sort of mentors me from time to time as well. To sort of get those skills up, kind of thing. He's a great guy, and he knows the business, very well. I mean, you can see that he's selling properties that are worth 5 million euros.
We'll have a look at this. Yeah, we'll have a look at this in a minute. But first, we've got to answer Matty's other question. What can you get for 100k over there? Probably not a lot.
No.
Okay, basically,
you might get a plot for your caravan or something. I don't know. But yeah.
That's right. And as T-Duck reminded us this morning, the world doesn't give you what you think you want. The world gives you according to your actions. So I think for this one, you need to act like a millionaire, don't you? And let's have a little look at this property. I mean, for the global buyer of property who's got 5 million, this is a beautiful home. This is truly. This
is what you would definitely describe as it's spectacular.
Look at that. Look at that. I'm going to open it. I'll see if I can get the bigger pictures on. Oh, yeah, we can have a little tour of this now on the screen. I love looking at properties like this. Who knows? Any of us with a quirk of fate could be the owner of this at just under. You're going to get 50 grand back from your 5 million anyway, aren't you? And then you can throw a big party for the rest of us to come and see you there. But this is a James Bond sort of place, isn't it? Have you been to this site?
No, I haven't actually. I've not had a chance, but I would like to, of course. But I mean, it's just, it's spectacular, everything about it,
Look at it. It's awesome.
In the heart of Sintra there, not overlooked by anyone. You've got views out to the palaces.
That's what I was going to ask you. So the red and mustard coloured buildings are the Sintra palaces in the distance.
Yeah.
Some of your neighbours.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
Oh my word! Look at it. Oh, that's so beautiful. This is made for Spain, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to imagine such places exist. I think sometimes you think, how can it? Because it's quite a densely populated kind of area, But you've got this place where basically it's just you looking out on the rest of the world, And the place is spectacular. It's been, everything's to a very, very high standard. You can tell that from looking at the pictures.
Yeah, I've got to say, it's only 5 million. Now I say that it's a lot of money. But if this same house, located next to ancient palaces in another part of the world, would be 10, 20, 50 million, wouldn't it, in a different part of the world?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It is so beautiful. So all the furniture, I presume, is negotiable. Some people some of the gumpers here might want to buy it like this and not have to bother to pop down to IKEA and just look at it. There's your office, your study there. Oh, this is a lovely, lovely place, isn't it? Look at that. Is that the master? I think it probably is the master bedroom. Or maybe it's the guest suite. I don't know. So this is the sort of world you're working in now. So that's quite a change, isn't it? From coming from drizzly Manchester into this luxury real estate world. Look at that for a dressing room.
Yeah, that's one of the pictures I like the most, because my house, I'm living in a T4, 3 bathrooms, but it's a modest size. When I look at this, I think, my God, can I be in that wardrobe space? I mean, it just looks like high quality. You can see that from it. It's a very high quality place. You know,
And your trainers will have their own illuminated display cabinet.
which is what they deserve. You know.
Nothing less
sure.
than they deserve.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I mean, this sort of place is the definition of luxury. You know,
isn't it just?
So you know, my team, we sort of we concentrate on the luxury market, but it's not exclusively the luxury market. Far from it. You know, we can help anybody find a place. You know, we have a lot of properties listed on our website. You know, coldwellbanker.pt. You know, so you can go and take a look on there. We do service all of the market. You know, so but yeah, places like this, I mean, they are a rare breed. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Look at this. I love it. Every now and then, I have to have a little bit of an aspirational look. Yeah, and these must be the staff quarters. If I'm living there, I'm definitely not using a washing machine ever again for the rest of my life. And I noticed as well there was a lift. So presumably you go from this rather splendid garage that a lot of people will be happy to live in, up into a glass elevator up to the upper floors. I think maybe you stop off at the wine cellar on the way. That's a lovely walk-in shower. Is this that's an elevator, isn't it, from the lower levels up into the viewing point?
Yes. Yeah.
Superb, incredible stuff there. Okay, so we're not going to get that for 100k there.
Unfortunately, not now.
We're going back to Manchester for just a moment. We've got another property to look at in just a moment in Palmella, which we both love, don't we? We've discovered. We have a mutual admiration of Palmella, which of course was struck by the fires, sadly, and I hope everyone.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, but Moaz, the mention of Manchester, went to Manchester with my friends from Phoenix, and we love the city and the people, so friendly, but we thought we'd cross the border. It was really hard understanding the accent. Can you help Moaz with that at all?
Well, I mean, I know people from the UK know where I'm from when I talk. I've got a very strong Mancunian accent, so yeah, I apologise for my people. I'll tell them to speak more clearly next time.
There's really no need for that. Are you a registered real estate agent? Yes, as Carl said there, he works with Coldwell Banker. Interesting. What are the origins of the name of Coldwell Banker then? Well,
Coldwell Banker is actually an American company. It's been around since I think it's 1906. I mean, it's an institution kind of thing in the States. It's been around a very long time. So that was the name of the founding the two founders. It can confuse people a little bit. They hear the word banker and they think, what about banking? But it's not. It's property. They're actually very big in the United States.
Okay, so better known to some of our other viewers from the United States, then possibly. Yeah. We've inspired Matty this morning, Cola. Anyway, I need to get some work done so I can put away money for the 5 million home. So there he is. He's inspired and ready to go for that. Well, we'll have another look before you go at another one. Then I think this is the Palmella one. Is that right? Is that where this is located?
Oh, that's actually a different one. That's with a colleague of mine. That's the one that's near. I think that's one near Coiner.
Okay. Bit more.
Yeah, that's.
Oh my! What's happening here?
Yeah, it's rather dangerous in the middle of the summer. But yeah, I mean this is not the one in Palmella, but again, this is the sort of an example of what you can get. I mean, I think. Can we just check the price on that one?
Yeah, of course. Let me go back to that. I'm trying to find the Palmella one because I really like the look of that. But let me just close the big view here, and we're looking at a $500,000 there.
Yeah, that's a lot of house.
Yeah. All right, that is a lot of house for that sort of money, isn't it? Okay, let's go back to the picture show for that. While I don't know if you want to say any more about this one, but that's another house made for entertaining, I would say. Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's sort of between where I am in Arroera and sort of Palmella. So there's an international school nearby. I think it's St. Peter's.
Okay.
And there's another international school as well. No, it's not an international school. It's a Portuguese private school. But yeah, again, you're not far from Coiner, which there's a train station there, so you can be, if you're commuting into Lisbon, you can be there very quickly. And even by car, I would guess from there, because you're not far from the highway, you could probably be in Lisbon in 25 minutes. So, and you've got a beautiful house, which is very well appointed. You can see from the pictures, it really is beautiful inside. Yes. Fantastic outside space. I mean, what can you say, for just over $500,000.
Coima or Coina?
I think it's Coina.
Coina, okay, very good. I've noticed that when I lived in Arroera, yes, I did see a name like that, which I think it either has a railway station or certainly a connection there for public transport, probably the easiest way to get into town. Oh, that's a cheap one, says Antonio. Just £500,000. Well, yes, we're trying to appeal to every budget this morning. That one looks like it's been one of those social experiment shows. 5 male and 5 female singles in one villa. What you do at the weekend is your business. And there it is.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
So then before we lose you today and you go off and sell your beautiful properties there, I want to look at this Palmela one as well, because tell us about that area, Palmela. It's a great location, isn't it? South of Lisbon, and then you've got the wonderful Sesimbra and the Arabida National Park to look at as well there, haven't you? Yeah,
again, absolutely. You know, you've got a lot of options there. Again, you're not that far from Lisbon, you know. You know, you can travel in by train, you can drive. If you're not far from the highway, I suspect, again, you can be in Lisbon in 25, 30 minutes for sure. Like you say, you've got the park there, which is, you know, beautiful, very beautiful. And also you're close to Setúbal, and then Azeitão as well. You know, we're talking kind of wine country here. You know, a lot of great wines come from here. Lots of vineyards. You know, if you fancy a day out, you know. Lots of options like that. And again, if you're a family coming here, there are international schools around there. You know, there are private schools and things like that. So again, it's just a great place to live. I mean, you know.
Oh, a tree house and a lake. Yeah. Love this place. Absolutely love this one. It's got its own tennis court, or a shared tennis court. What's the deal here?
It's its own tennis court. Yeah, it's got its own tennis court. So
very
again, I mean, okay, you know, we're talking nearly €1 million, so it's not for everybody. But I mean, I think most people would agree that is a fantastic property on a fantastic plot of land. You know, you'd struggle to get that in many other places in Europe. You know, for sure. You know.
Beautiful kitchen. I mean, the Gumpers are looking for an old folks home. And so one of these properties might be good if we all put our money together and we have a sort of Basel 40 towers effort.
I think this one's got a little sort of a granny flat attachment as well. I thought formerly garage is now a 1-bedroom sort of granny flat type thing. Needs a bit of renovation, but yeah, you know, you can stuff the relatives away there.
What is in the glass case here? Samurai outfit. That's incredible. Oh, beautiful. We're up in the apex of the attic room there, I think, with a display cabinet with a Japanese samurai or similar there. This is a fabulous place. It really is lovely. Oh, there's your outdoor kitchen as well. Love it. Thank you very much, Carl, for sharing that with us. That one, 950 and represented by Christopher. That's your 4-bedroom villa in Palmela. Carl, thank you for telling us your story this morning. What would you say? Just parting shot here. Especially to UK, it would be reassuring, I think, for some people to hear your Mancunian accent this morning and to hear of a success story of somebody coming over from Manchester to Portugal. I think it is fairly easy for the Brits to get a D7. But what would you say to them if they're in rainy Manchester this morning, stuck in a traffic jam on the outskirts of Manchester? It's peeing down. And they're thinking, I've had enough of this. Should I go to Portugal?
Well, I mean, the way I see things is just do it. Something always turns out. You can always make excuses to not do it. You know, there's always a reason to sort of stay within your little world. But if you really do have that in your heart where you think, I just want something different, just go and do it. Make it happen. You know, it's not an easy journey. There are frustrations and it's quite scary at times as well, you know, but just get out there and do it. Go and get some advice, seek professional advice as well. You know, Facebook's great for sort of giving you an insight into, you know, the processes and the things you need to do. But if you're really taking it seriously, I would say get professional advice. You know, there's a lot of people come on your show that can help with, you know, with different things. People like myself can help, you know, when it comes to procuring a property, finding a place to live, you know, maybe advising about schools in different areas. So do a bit of research, but ultimately, you know, just if you keep thinking about doing it, just
do it. Just do it. Okay. Don't go anywhere just yet. My next guest this morning, Gumper Sarah, and cycling expert who we'll bring onto the screen now. Good morning to you, Sarah. How are you?
Hey.
Hola, bom dia. Tudo bem?
Hola, bom dia. Sim, tudo bem.
Great to see you. You know Carl's colleague Chris, I think.
We do. Chris got us a place in Setúbal. And we knew at the time that he was slumming working with us, and he didn't mind. He was so kind.
Yes. Yeah. There you go. That's lovely. Yeah, that's a lovely testimonial for your colleague Chris there.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Sarah.
Yeah,
it's good. No, it just shows, you know, like I say, people shouldn't get hung up on the fact that we're showing luxury property. We'll help anybody find a place, whatever your budget is, you know, drop us a line, you know, you can contact us through Carl. Happy to help anybody in any circumstances. And listen, even if that's just for a little bit of friendly advice, you know, I'm certainly always there for that, you know, no questions asked.
Well, how do we get in touch with you, Carl? I haven't got your contact details here. Can you put it in the private chat, and then I will
absolutely
so people can have that. And I thank you. Have a lovely day in Araújo, Fontatelia. Give my love to Lee and everybody over in that part of Portugal.
I will do. Great. Thanks for having me.
All right,
I will do.
Yeah,
okay.
All right. Tell him he's famous. We were talking about him this morning. See you later, mate. Bye for now. Ciao,
thank you. Bye now.
Muito obrigado. There he goes. There goes Carl, other Carl this morning. Sarah, great to see you here. Of course, people might remember you from talking about cycling. You are our favorite cyclist, cycling family. And well, I think it's been really important what you've done. We've checked in with you from time to time, you know, in these last couple of years, I think, since we've known you. And you've been flying the flag for how exciting, inspiring and safe, actually, it is to cycle in Portugal. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. It's been just lovely.
Well, and so you're, I mean, it was a new territory to you, of course, and I'm glad to hear it's been just lovely. What have been your most recent cycling breakthroughs or adventures? I think the Alentejo has appealed to you, and you've done a bit of cycling over that way, right?
Yeah, we went over there for Matt's birthday, and we wanted to look at the dark sky, which they do have, and it was lovely.
Okay. Yes.
More recently, we have a friend over in Alcácer de Sal, and we went to see her. And unfortunately, we picked the second week in August to do it, and we rode down the N110, and that was not a good idea.
Okay.
So rather than trying to get back to Setúbal that way, we rode around and went through Comporta.
Okay.
And we took the ferry back.
So that is that's a cycling tip then. Month of August is very busy on the roads here, isn't it?
Stay home.
Okay, stay home. Stay home. But now, I mean, I'm imagining you're experiencing a complete contrast. People have gone back to school, gone back to work. And
yes, they have. Yeah, and we are planning a trip on the N2 for the spring.
Are you?
We're going to go Chaves to Faro.
Are you? And is that the most southerly part of the Route 66 legendary journey then of Portugal?
Yeah, right? It goes right down to the beach.
Yeah,
right
too. Okay, fantastic stuff. And is there a cyclist group for Portugal? Are you part of that? Have you started something like that? Or should we do something like that?
We should. We should.
Yeah,
I haven't really gotten together with. I see groups of people going through, but I haven't really gotten together with them yet.
Okay, because the whole touring thing is big anyway in Portugal, isn't it, among Portuguese people?
Yeah, and our apartment currently is right on Eurovelo 1. There are a whole series of biking routes that are mapped out across Europe.
Right? Okay.
And our apartment is right on Route 1.
Wow.
I think it goes up to Norway or something.
Does it? So you can leave your front door and be on a cycle route to Norway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Opening up the world of cycling for us again this morning. That's fantastic. But that's not why you're here this morning. You contacted me with an idea to map the Gumpers and the community of Expats Portugal around Portugal. Can you tell us about this lovely idea?
Well, the idea that I had was we're always exchanging information about place, and I'm a geographer by trade.
Right.
But let me preface this with I know things about web technology, right? I can write HTML in a text editor myself, but I'm not really a web guy, right? I do geographic information. Like in America, I fix broken 911 systems. When they call 911 in the movies and everybody always comes.
Yeah.
In real life, it doesn't necessarily happen that way.
No.
So we fix the data that makes that work.
Oh, okay. That's your thing, is it? So
Yeah.
presumably that needs to be as automated and reliable for the professionals involved as possible. They get an address.
You bet.
Yeah, and they just need to be able to get there, and you facilitate and organize that from a
Yeah.
mapping point of view. Amazing. Okay.
Yeah, the details are too geeky to talk about here, but that's what we do. We do data. But what I thought was maybe we could have a map where Gumpers could say, "Oh, here's a place to do this," or "This is a really great restaurant for that," or all of that, so that somebody who is coming to Portugal could look at this map, this crowdsourced information, and go, "Oh, I would like to go here, 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 and here."
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have to sort of gather it from all the different places where people do and try and put it on a map themselves.
Okay. And I can give a little, if I put this visual up, this is a representation. Most people, of course, are familiar with Google Maps, aren't they? Which has been an incredible contribution to humanity. But there are other options available, aren't there? There are crowdsourced is one phrase, isn't it? But open source is the other phrase I'm looking for, isn't it? Options are available.
Yeah, we can both ethically and for free financially use a resource called OpenStreetMap.
Yeah.
And there's there you go. Okay. So this is kind of a proof page. I went, okay, here's where my favorite bakery is, and here's where we go and feed the ducks, and we could put more dots down on the beach or whatever, but this is close to where I live. And I thought that sort of thing might be nice. I'm still working on the machinery to make it so that people can put the point down themselves. But if you click on, is that live, Carl? Can you click on one of the points? Okay, click on one of the points if you would.
That'll work, will it? Oh my word, look.
Yeah.
Okay. So the data for it can just come up as a little bit of a database entry, and you can find out more about the place.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Is that actually your favorite bakery?
It is.
These folks put up with my bad Portuguese and bake the best pão centeio bread in the city. That's fantastic. Okay, I want to look at some of the other things now. So this is
there's only two.
Okay, but that's enough. This is where you feed the ducks. So this is rich, isn't it? This is multi-dimensional, and look, we've already had an offering of help. Fellow geeks and nerds are getting aroused by this idea this morning. Matty, one of them. I'd like to get in touch with Sarah. We could help each other out, me being an IT guy and she being a geographer. Well, I think you cover both worlds, as you said there, Sarah, but this could be quite an incredible collaborative project in the community, couldn't it? What other possibilities are you seeing here?
Oh, well, I think we could categorize the data. So you could go, okay, I'd like to look at restaurants. I'd like to look at beaches. I'd like to look at cycling routes. I'd like to look at, whatever. We could do all kinds of things with it. So it could be really simple.
Yeah, it could be, couldn't it? And people could come in from whatever angle is their interest into a common map and then just pull the data out that they want.
Yeah.
How very lovely, how very collaborative, how very community focused. Loving this. I was a GIST analyst before I retired. How about that? The things you find
Thunderduck.
Yay, GIST analysts of the world unite. And Sarah, when Batman dies, you can be my hero. This is incredible. There you go. So I think people are liking this this morning. When we're talking about cycling, I think this is Raouf. His interest in cycling is loving to sit down and relax while watching cyclists pass by. Well, yes, that's another way of enjoying it. Love me some cycling, says Andy in Bayrada, cycling through the countryside, cycling to and along the coast. Fantastic. So cycling is a great thing. I mean, there is a little bit of, we'll come back to the Map-It thing in just a moment, but because you're here, we need to talk about cycling, I think. There is a little bit of a worry, isn't there, for people who think driving and road safety is a bit of an issue in Portugal. It is. There's no question about that. But how have you found that?
I found it quite negotiable. It's like any place else. You can choose a bad road, you can choose a good road.
Yeah.
But by and large, Portuguese drivers are terrific, at least as compared to people in the States.
Oh, interesting.
I think I told you before, nobody has ever thrown a full can of beer at me here. Nobody has ever reached out from the window of a moving pickup truck to grab my rear end. Nobody has told their dog to come bite me. It's
These are
been
things that
really,
happen.
really pleasant.
All of that happened to you in the United States?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's just really pleasant, and geez, I even had a crash and I had to go to the bomberos, and they were so kind. They were so
Oh,
kind. They fixed you right up. Everything was good.
wow. Wow. Oh, well,
They're
I'm so
good.
glad to hear that. Okay, so
Yeah.
don't let your
They're,
prejudices and your ideas put you off. Obviously exercise some caution and safety in planning, but it sounds like
mhm.
cycling from both your point of view, Paul Rusby, is, of course, who we've spoken to, and Andy here this morning saying that Portugal is a great place to cycle. I don't know if you can stretch to this, Sarah, but I'm looking forward to come to Setúbal from Dubai anytime soon. We are 5 members of a family awaiting for visa issuance since June 9th, 2022. Sorry,
Yeah.
these are taking a while, aren't they? From the Portugal Embassy, Abu Dhabi. I don't know. Maybe that isn't a question, Zafar, but Zafar Manzour, you're very welcome here. You're enjoying life in Setúbal. It's been a good choice for you, Sarah.
It has, and I actually did a job once in Abu Dhabi, so welcome.
It's
Yeah.
incredible connections this morning. Incredible connections. All right, so before you go, before we finish today, what else can we do with this map? We were taking requests from people, I think, about how it can be furnished and how it could flourish. What else were you thinking, Sarah?
Well, I was thinking, that I would very much welcome an offer of help. It's I have used the platform that I'm looking at for previously, and I'm having a little trouble. This is for the map geeks out there. I'm having a little difficulty working the WFST on this platform.
Yeah, it can happen to anyone, though, to be fair.
It can.
I often I get that a lot, but yeah.
First thing in the morning. So anybody who wants to chip in, I would love to have the help.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, so Connie's loving it as well. The map is a great idea because we don't all see the world in the same way, do we? Some people like a bit of social media, some people like a bit of text, some people like a video. And then this
Mhm.
map idea is a whole other area that some people might relate to more or better.
Yeah, and we could even have I think this is a concept. I haven't tried this yet. I think we could embed links in the map. So you
Yeah.
could go, oh, I like to see this now. I'd like to see more. Clip.
Yes, yes. And it can be updatable as it's just peer to peer. It can be
Mhm.
crowdsourced and people can put their things in and it can be a community effort.
Yeah. No, yeah. If we want to put permissions on it so that we don't have people coming in and putting all kinds of things that we don't want on there,
Yeah.
we'll need to. It will take some amount of money. I don't know how much.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's big. It's
Okay.
basically an open source group running this.
Superb. Okay, what is the link? Says Francis. I'd love to look at it. I'm not a tech or anything, but I can always give an end user perspective. I'm not going to share the link publicly because it's a work in progress, isn't it? But maybe I could do that we can have a little WhatsApp group or go to the forum and get people working together with this idea, which is fantastic. More ducks on the map, please. Well, it's not a bad start, T-Duck, is it? There are only 2 entries, and one of them is actually about feeding ducks already. So I think that's pretty well represented, the duck world there. Every Monday we have an immigration. Oh, okay, that's Moaz working the room. Thank you very much. Gilda can help you if necessary. Zafar. And thanks from Zafar as well with your welcome to Setúbal. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it, Sarah. Anything else you want to tell us about this before we conclude today?
No, it'll be fun. Just I think to make it run properly, it will take more than one person. So thank you for the volunteers.
Is it all right to have your username on the forum so that people can get in touch with you? Okay.
Sure,
What do you go by on the forum? What's your handle?
My name is Sarah.
So
Sarah
if
Yerman.
people search for Sarah Yerman as they see it on the screen there, they'll be able to find you in the forum.
They can.
Superb. What a lovely gift. What a lovely suggestion. All the best to you. Next cycling trip is when? Is it the N2 one you're talking about?
Yeah, I think that's the next biggie.
Okay.
There's some talk about doing the Camino de Santiago as well.
Oh, very good.
And we'll just see how it goes.
All right. And thank you, by the way. I mean, people often, I think, actually, they don't wonder, do they? They press 911 and they expect it to work, and quite rightly so.
Right.
And a lot of unsung heroes are behind what goes on there, and you're one of them. So thank you. Let's acknowledge you for your work you're doing. It's absolutely and actually life-saving work, isn't it? So thank you for being one of those unsung heroes behind the scenes there.
Thank you so much.
Lots of love to you and your family. And I like it how you're getting the Portuguese tuition from the son's girlfriend. That's a great.
Yes.
It's working out nicely.
Yes, and she's wonderful, and we're hoping that she will be here for a very long time.
Excellent. Love-based language tuition. It probably doesn't get better than that, does it?
Yes.
Super. All right, Sarah. All the best to you. Love to the family. Ciao for now. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you so much. There she goes, Sarah Yerman. You can find her on the forum if you want to get in touch with her and develop that idea. That's probably the best way to do it. There's the map idea, and cloud-based, of course, as everything will be, but crowdsourced more importantly, and a collaborative community effort where you can share resources and find out about things here in Portugal. That's not such a bad idea, is it? There you go. I'm zooming right out now. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the big picture of this country that we have in common and that we love. Setúbal, Comporta area there you're looking at, and we're zooming right out to where we spoke to Carl this morning, just south of the river here, south of the river in Lisbon, Aroeira we were talking about. This is such a great idea. Let's see what happens. Get in touch with Sarah on the forum about that. And we'll conclude now today. Let me just make sure I've resolved everything this morning and see if we've got any. Oh, dad jokes. How remiss of me to nearly have forgotten that. I'll finish with a couple of dad jokes this morning then. And where are they? Some way back in the chat. Thank you to T-Duck for those. Before I go to the start of the chat this morning, let's go to the end of it. And with good gumpers, fondle that like button for this great show. Thank you, Cindy B. What, Elena? Just because I live in Lisbon area, you no longer talk to me. What's going on there? And Zafar, you're most welcome this morning, Zafar Manzoor. Thanks for the advice. We'll join Monday. Yes, excellent. Migration Monday, of course. Great for getting advice on moving to Portugal from that point of view. All the way back up to the top, to the dad jokes. This is at the ready for these a trio of dad jokes. A groan of dad jokes, of course, the collective noun. Where are they? In among the, here they are, in among all the God squads and deep thoughts and Portuguese sayings. If attacked by a mob of clowns, go for the juggler. A termite walks into a pub and asks, is the bartender here? That's very good. That's very, very good. And finally, this morning, my wife found out I replaced our bed with a trampoline. She hit the ceiling. Thank you very much, everybody. Oh, we had a message in from Philomena yesterday, didn't we? Which I think I should play again in anticipation of her joining us tomorrow. Philomena Friday tomorrow. We'll have some fun with Philomena. We have our tonight the webinar, buying a property on the internet via the internet tonight with Savvy Cat Anna. So join us for that at 7:30. If you want to sign up for it, go to expatsportugal.com and sign up on the events page there or via the events page. And this message in from Philomena. Come on, Philomena, where are you? It's only coming out on my computer. That's not how it's supposed to be. Waiting for your questions. See you Friday. So I don't know what happened there. That's meant to be coming out on the through the computer, not just out through my little laptop speaker there. Anyway, you get the gist. We'll have Philomena with us tomorrow. Any questions about the language or the culture, anything that's been on your mind, I must ask Philomena about that. You can do that tomorrow. Have a great day. Boa quinta-feira. And we will see you tomorrow morning. Adios, ciao, ciao. And até próxima.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show the audience will do so in kind. A little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show at GMP. Hey, Gumpers.